we are here for a second for the script study of CODA. CODA. Nice and relaxing. It's earlier than anticipated because I have stuff to do later. Let's just mess with some of this audio. There we go. I think we are chilling. No? Alright, I have my pen. We're ready to rock and roll. Okay. I have blue. I think I'll use red today. Or what's this? Ooh, okay. Okay, we're ready. So we're gonna get this thing going, get this bad boy going. Alright. Yo, Azuki, you're here. I'm gonna do this real fast because I gotta go soon, but I wanna keep to the schedule of Sunday script studies that I have going on. So today we're gonna be talking about CODA by Sian Heder. We already did Wednesday last week. I watched the movie on stream, did a little watch along thing. I cried again, but not as much as the first time. But we're here. It's based on the French movie La Famille Bélier. Alright, have fun, man. I'm just gonna be doing this thing. This is just talking. This is just me talking about the script, fam. We're just gonna be reading it. It's a 76 page or something like that. 79. And we gaming. Alright, we're not gaming. We're reading. We're studying. We're writers. Okay. Let's get it going. I already saw the movie twice. I get everything, but this is the first time I'm reading this big old juicy screenplay. Let's get it. So we have the Angela Rose deck. Fishing Waters Dawn. Angela Rose. I remember this as the boat. So this is the main fishing boat, the Angela Rose. Open ocean, Cape Ann, off the coast of Gloucester, Massachusetts. Oh, it's Massachusetts. I thought it was Florida. A rusty 30-foot fishing trawler, the Angela Rose, slices the gray water. Waves slap the boat. The engine roars, the winch creaks, and gulls circle overhead as the nets come up, hoping for a fish. Something's Got a Hold on Me by Etta James playing from a small radio. On deck, Ruby, 17, in fishing Grundens. Oh, that's what it's called? Grundens. I gotta put that note down somewhere. Belts out the song as she runs the winch, raising the net above the sorting bin. She sings along with the radio as she works. Her father, Frank, 50s, bearded and weathered. The brother, Leo, early 20s, handsome, tattooed, guide the catch into position. They signal to Ruby. She pulls the release and the net opens, dropping an impressive haul of fish onto the deck. For this passage, I think some of these passages are pretty thick, but I think it's fine for the beginning. I liked Frank's description better, but I don't really like Leo's because I just know that he's tattooed, but like, what's handsome? The hell? I don't get it. The hell's handsome, you know? So I don't know anything about these people from their descriptions, but it's not bad. I mean, Sian Heder is the director, and she's the writer and the director, so it doesn't matter too much since she's the one that's doing all the fun shit. So it's fine. She can write it however she wants. Ruby, Leo, and Frank sort the fish into tubs, measuring them and tossing the bycatch back overboard. Leo and Frank pay no attention to Ruby's singing. They sort and clean fish with the efficiency of guys who have done this their entire lives, their whole lives. Reaching into the pile of fish, Ruby pulls out an old shoe. She laughs, throws it. You can't throw. He gestures that it's too small, throws it overboard. You keep that. Why are you throwing an old shoe back into the ocean? They don't show it. They don't show it in the movie. I think they didn't probably because people might talk shit, be like, yo, what the hell. Frank shovels ice over the layers of fish. Leo cleans the fish by slushing them around in a bucket with his boot. The radio crackles. Angela Rose, do you copy? Interior, Angela Rose wheelhouse. Ocean. Alright, it's just continuous. Ruby snatches up the receiver. Copy. Are you guys coming in? As the boat sails past the break wall into the harbor, Ruby leans over the rail watching the rocky granite shoreline. Gloucester City Hall towers above town. The quaint shopping district fades into the working wharf. In the harbor, lobstermen pull up their traps. Salgado Fish Wharf. The Angela Rose pulls into the dock. They offload their catch. The processor, Tony Salgado, heavy Italian, weighs their haul. The Salgados run everything around here, as evidenced by the family name on the warehouses, the trucks, and the auction house. Fishermen mingle, loading and unloading boats. As Ruby weaves through them, Arthur, the ice distributor, calls to her. I see you, Ruby. I'm cutting off your ice. I'm not a freaking charity. It's coming. Ruby approaches Tony as he hands over her paperwork. How you doing, honey? Ruby ignores him, flipping through the forms. Another fisherman, Brady, loads his boat with his crew. Hey, Ruby. I thought you guys were fishing First Ledge. You're done already for the day? Piece of shit quotas. Bullshit quotas, right? What are you gonna give her on those haddock? $2 a pound? $2.50, and I'm being generous. $2.50? What are you guys getting at auction? Calm your liver, honey. You let me worry about the numbers. Sign over here. Rolling her eyes, Ruby signs. What are you gonna take her lunch money to? I gotta figure out how to do a Boston accent. Or my car keys. What are you gonna take her lunch money to? What are you gonna take her lunch money to? That's like Australian. What are you gonna take her lunch money to? Ruby hands over the paperwork and heads back into the boat. Exterior, Angela Rose Salgado Fish Wharf continuous. That's like Irish. Ruby approaches the boat with Frank and Leo work the boom, unloading tubs of fish on ice. Okay, hold on, wait, we gotta talk about what's happening. I got distracted by accents. Alright, so far what we know, we got Salgado. They're from the, I suspect they're from the mafia just because they're Italian and it's Massachusetts and they're running the joint. But they got the big monopoly. There's a lot of tension. Oh, you can't even see some of the notations that I'm making. There's a lot of tension between the fishermen and the Salgados. But this is not the main storyline. This is like the B. This is a freaking C story, dude. They're opening up with the C story first, which is pretty cool. And then we still don't know what the main story is gonna be about. But so far we just know that there's some fishing trauma right now. All following conversations in italics are signed and subtitled American Sign Language. This is where it is clear Ruby's family is deaf. Alright, and that's where CODA comes in, child of deaf adults. Frank and Leo work on the boom unloading the tubs of fish on ice. Alright, Ruby signs, what a dick. I keep saying, let's sell our own fish. Frank goes, they tried it down the Cape. That all went to hell. So keep bitchin', that'll work. Ruby's heard this argument a million times. Gotta go. Love you, daddy. Don't forget about the doctor and the nets. I know. To Leo, by shitface. By twat waffle. Waffle? Spoken. Twat waffle. That's a new one. That's good. Okay. This is where my voice acting is not gonna do good because it's straight up sign language. But I like this format. This is what I learned to do. It's when you have like languages and stuff, you always rock the good old in the very top, like all text in italics or all text in bold is in X language. That way when you're reading it, it flows a lot faster. You don't have to be like all these parentheses like signed, signed, signed. It just makes for smoother reading. But then this is where I'm just gonna be saying it. Exterior Gloucester Street's montage day. So Ruby puts on her headphones, her bike, and then she bikes to school. So we go to I'm trying also, after learning from the first script study where I read every single word for like 120 pages and it was like 3 hours, no, I'm not doing that no more. I'm just gonna be skimming down some of this stuff, but then I know the scenes that I like. I'll slow down on the scenes that I really like. Interior high school classroom day. Miss Simon lectures Ruby's history class. The hell's Miss Simon? Where the Bill of Rights protected people from the federal government, Amendments 13, 14, and 15 protected them from their state government. The faint sound of snoring comes from the back of class. Miss Simon stares at Ruby passed out on her deck. Sadly, there was no amendment protecting the right to nap. Ruby? Disoriented, Ruby awakes with a start and signs as she talks. What's wrong? That stuff, the rest of this part was cut from the movie. It was just this little bit. But she's just a kid and she's working like full time at like 3 in the morning out in the boat. Let her sleep. Ruby opens her locker. Her friend Gertie, 17, wry, Gloucester to the core. I like that. This description. Gloucester to the core. Now that is description as hell. Launches in without missing a beat. Guess what? What? I did it. I hooked up with tiny fingers. Wow! I don't know. Curiosity got the better of me. Also, totally wrong, despite those little baby hands. Gertie holds her hands like a footpot. Really? Yeah, we have to change the nickname. Damn, dude, Tiny Fingers got a big cock. Audra, beautiful and horrible, walks by them with a group of girls. She shoots Ruby a look as she passes. Do you guys smell fish? Damn. That's a freaking 2000s American high school movie type of dialogue. It's so bad. Do you smell fish? The girls snicker. Gertie watches them with disgust. Well, at least she's not doing deaf voice anymore. That's progress. Ruby watches as Audra passes Miles, 17, king amongst choir kids, carrying his guitar. Audra slaps his ass. Her friends crack up. Ruby stares at Miles, feeling invisible. That's sexual harassment. Sexual harassment goes both ways. We gotta put up a like a hotline right here. If you're feeling sexually harassed, please dial 911 if it's an emergency, if you're in the US, or dial the sexual harassment hotline number. If you get smacked in the ass by some girl as walking down the street and it's uncalled for, be sure you are heard. You have a voice. Okay, whatever. Alright, so now we're getting introduced to the main storyline right here. We have the side, Ruby's friend Gertie. She likes sleeping around, tiny fingers, big cock, okay. And then we got Audra, the school bully. She's not important. And then we have Miles the important one. And now we're getting into the main storyline of Ruby and Miles. So we're in the high school cafeteria. Ruby and Gertie stand in line to sign up for electives. Gertie flips through a course book. I'm gonna be practicing my pronunciation as well, so I want to read slower and get all the syllables in the words and use my entire lip mouth thing. My entire lip mouth. Okay, there we go. I'm ready. Gertie says, the goal is to find the elective that asks the least of you, like film club, but also known as put your backpack down and go smoke a bowl. Respect, that is film club. Ruby glances furtively at Miles, inching forward in the line next to hers. Furtively. Yo, I like that word. Plus, Mr. Wabach is actually pretty hot, you know, in a Comic-Con kind of way. Wabach. Ruby reaches the registration desk and the guidance counselor behind it. Miles is also at the front of his line. Ruby eavesdrops. Miles, yeah, choir, please. Why does he have that voice? I'm gonna give Miles that voice. Yeah, choir, please. Ruby suddenly turns to her counselor. Choir. Guidance counselor. Okay, just fill this out. And Gertie's like, choir, are you high? And then Ruby high shushes her as Miles moves away from the table. I sing all the time, Gertie goes. You are already socially challenged enough around here, but sure. If you start, beatboxing or doing that cup clapping thing, we're done, yeah? I don't have a cup. I got a ticket to the long way round. 2 bottles whiskey on the way. Ruby waits at the curb. She watches clusters of kids socialize. Everyone belongs to a group except her. Suddenly, a crazy thumping bass makes her head turn. Ruby's parents pull up in front of the school. Frank driving and Jackie, beautiful 40s, heavy-handed makeup, shotgun. They blast gangsta rap. Ruby, mortified, quickly climbs in. Turn that down, it's loud. She's signing now. This is all signed. You didn't change after fishing, you stink. I love this song. Feel that beat. My whole ass is vibrating. That's the dad. Just drive, please. Ruby stares out the window at the kids laughing. And this thing goes on for a little bit more and more, but it's pretty good. I like the dad so much. Frank is so expressive with his signing and his facial expressions in the movie. So now that we're in the doctor's office, in the exam room, Ruby sits between her parents in a tiny exam room translating for them. She's done this many times. That doesn't make it any less awkward. Frank. It's definitely itchy as hell. What kind of voice should Frank have? Frank. It's definitely itchy as hell. It's definitely itchy as hell. Okay, how do I not offend anyone by trying to come up with a type of sound for the deaf people when I read the deaf people lines? Should I do fa 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 fa? Do like a fa? Mwah? Ga? It's definitely itchy as hell. Ruby goes like, it itches. My nuts are on. Maybe I'll do like, my nuts are on fire. His, they're like, give them. What? Give them a British accent. Second. A British second. Alright, fine. Alright, all the British people get all the deaf people get British accents. Copy that. Frank. And then I'll do like low pitch or high pitch for the dad or whatever. So the Frank, it's definitely itchy as hell. It's definitely itchy as hell. It itches. My nuts are on fire. My nuts are on fire. How do you even do it? I can't do it with the low voice. His, they're like, They're like angry, hard little beets covered in barnacles. They're like angry, hard little beets covered in barnacles. I got it. And your mother's got it even worse, like a boiled lobster claw. Ruby squirms, mortified. Right, so the layman's term for what you both have is jock itch. It's common if you spend a lot of time in damp clothes, and it's easily transferable via intercourse. Ruby signs to her dad. You guys got jock itch. I'll give you an antifungal cream, but you both have to keep the area dry and avoid sex for 2 weeks. Ruby to her parents. You two need to clean underwear. You two need clean underwear, and you're not allowed to do it anymore. What? For how long? Never again. Done for life. Frank and Jackie stare at her. Ruby. 2 weeks. I can't do it. Impossible. Alright, basically, the whole shtick with the parents is that they love to smash. They're so passionately in love with each other. And they're all deaf. They're all passionately in love. Which that kind of comes up a few because Ruby realizes that even though she has her own family problems of being the only hearing kid and being bullied and stuff because it was weird or whatever, there's all the other kids that she meets, their families are all fucked up. Like, their parents don't hate each other or whatever. So, it's pretty good. Exterior Rossi home deck night. Ruby tries to focus on her homework as Jackie cooks. It's not easy. Jackie bangs. So everything's noisy in her house. Ruby puts her headphones on, drowning out the noise as she's trying to do homework. Jackie goes like, "Oi, take those off. It's rude." Ruby, "What's rude is how noisy you guys are. I can't focus." Jackie heads into the kitchen, ushering Leo to the table. "Go eat." You know why Frank freaking farts? Frank farts a fat doozy. Ruby kicks his leg. And then Frank goes like, "You know why God made farts smell? So deaf people could enjoy them too." Frank grins. Ruby rolls her eyes. Jackie comes in with the wine, taps on Ruby's shoulders. Jackie, "Don't slouch, you'll get stuck." Jackie goes, "Don't slouch, you'll get stuck." Ruby slumps and puffs out her cheeks. Frank picks up a wine bottle, looks at the price. $15, really? £15, really? Jackie, "You choose weed, I choose wine." Jackie looks over Leo's shoulder as he Tinder swipes a couple of girls. She whacks him. Jackie, "You don't want her, swipe left. None of them smile." Leo goes, So, she's hot. "When I was modeling." Here we go. And they start signing crazy stuff. They start duo dialogue, and they're like, the mom's a model, blah blah blah. The dad's like, "Yeah, dude, she's like one of the hottest during the modeling days. She beat all of them hearing bitches and all that fun stuff." And then the family, they all started doing Tinder as a family, and then Ruby was like, "What the heck? How come I can't listen to music and y'all can do Tinder at the dinner table?" And then the mom's like, "Tinder is something we can all do as a family." And then Ruby's like, our high school choir room day. So we got the first day of choir. Kids stream in, take their seats. Ruby's in a flannel, watches Miles socialize with some choir girls. Bernardo Villalobos, quick-witted and wearing an abnormally tight pants, stands by the piano, coffee in hand. I should be doing more annotations. In the first one, I was like annotating everything. but there's like nothing to really annotate. It's just the story going on so far, because I will start annotating way later though. There's gonna be a lot of stuff I remember, but it feels like I'm not doing a lot right now. But right now we're just getting a lot of melodrama, family drama. So we're seeing Ruby's not really fitting in with her family. She can't really fit in at school, right? She likes music, she likes singing based on her listening to music. It hasn't really said that she likes singing much here, but there's little hints. And then, so you're seeing all these little pieces of niblets of conflict being built up, and now we're getting into this choir where things are gonna start moving faster. So now we have Mr. Bernardo Villalobos. I completely missed the fact that he was Spanish, and I thought he was French for the longest time. I think I got cancelled. So I was like, I did not tell you to sit. On your feet, my friends. Up. They made my latte with some sort of disgusting nut milk this morning. This is actually how he talks. This is what I remember from how he speaks. So I'm in a mood. My name is Bernardo Villalobos. Bernardo. If you can't roll your R's, please don't embarrass yourself and just call me Mr. V. Okay, all of you on this side, come on, move. Let's see if you're an alto, soprano, or just watched too many episodes of Glee. He steps onto the piano. My birthday was last Tuesday, so in lieu of gifts, I will be accepting the happy birthday song. I do not need an entire meal, I just want to place your voice, you, Harry Potter. Let's hear it. Ruby watches as a boy with round glasses steps forward. Harry Potter boy. I love this name. What the heck? Harry Potter boy. That's great. Happy birthday to you. And then they're next. Various kids step forward and sing. Bernardo barks out, critiques and directs them to their section. Stiff girl. Happy birthday to you. Alto next. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. To you, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Suave, tenor, next. Bernardo turns to Ruby, who has been watching this progression of singers with growing terror. Yes, next, yes, you, the red shirt. Bless me with your birthday wishes. Ruby freezes. She glances at Miles, who's staring back at her. She turns red. Bernardo catches this. Forget the words. Don't look at them. They're not going to help you. Ruby is unable to make a sound. Faces of judgment stare back at her. And then she runs away. Bernardo goes, we have a run. Exterior manship quarry. Woods day. So Ruby treks through the woods after this, and it's like this really nice little lake situation going on, you know. She's all alone. There's like not a human body in sight for like the next like 2 miles, and she's sitting on a rock overlooking this ledge. And then she starts singing happy birthday, and her voice is so good. What is it, the actress's name? Emilia Jones. Yeah, Emilia Jones. She's such a good singer, and she's only 19. It's so good. When she started singing this happy birthday thing here, I was caught off guard. I was like, what the hell? I got chills. There was so many chills running through my body when it was so good. And then interior Rossi home. Just like this actress's voice is so good. Whatever. So the Rossi home kitchen deck. So she's back at home after singing some happy birthday out there by the lake. In her pajamas, Ruby pulls a load out of the laundry, then heads out of the kitchen. She passes the porch. She notices her parents heated arguing. The card was declined. I'll move money around tomorrow. It's so embarrassing. What do you want me to do? I gotta pay for ice fuel. For ice fuel. Maybe you could sell the roast. And then do what? It's the one thing I know how to do. So yeah, they fish at people. Family problems. Alright, so we have the subplot. Alright, we're starting getting some stuff here. We're getting some stuff that I can annotate. Alright, so first up, step 1. We got, alright, I'm gonna make this smaller. Step 1, we have Ruby. What she wants is singing. That's the first thing. The second thing is we have the family with their drama. And then I think that's what's under the family is the whole fishing situation. Because the family thing, we saw a little bit of how just the family's not sort of understanding of Ruby's hearingness. Of Ruby being able to hear. And Ruby, she wants to sing. And she's gonna have her own obstacles there. So we got 3 sort of things going on here, right? And I'm gonna put money problems in the family thing too. So like families, non-compliance, and everything. And what's interesting too, this is another note that I like, is that Ruby does no idea if she's good or not. She has no idea if she's good because her whole family's deaf, and she's too shy to like sing in front of other people. So she's probably never had anyone say anything to her, and she has no idea if her voice is good. All right, good drawings. Angela Rose deck ocean. So they're having their money problems. They're fishing. So the fish wharf, Ruby. Oh, so okay, so the family pulls up Ruby, Frank, and Leo, the brother. They pull up, and then there's like this big meeting with all the fisher people, sort of on the side streets. They're going out. We got Chubbs, we got Jimmy, we got Mondo, we got Brady. And then everyone's sort of confronting Tony Salgado as to like this fish price. And then Frank's like, what's going on? And then Ruby's like, I don't know. Brady, I thought they weren't gonna do this observer shit. Well, I ain't making the rules. I'm just telling you how it is. This is like racist. Yeah, well, how it is, I can barely feed my family. That's bullshit. As the fishermen talk, Ruby interprets. The feds are insisting on SSE monitors observing are gonna come into your boat to make sure you're not breaking any rules. That's out of my pocket, so I gotta pay to have a spy on my boat. How much is that gonna cost? $800 a day. Come on, fool, that's gonna kill us. I don't know what to do for Mondo. What the hell's Mondo? Ruby turns to Frank, delivering this blow. 800 a day. That's more than we make in a day. Don't tell me, tell them. Ruby gestures that he should address the group. Frank shakes her off, not comfortable speaking up. Yeah, so now we're having some of the deaf problems here. They're too timid. That was my problem with the whole family. That was like the family's issue. The whole family was so timid throughout the whole movie. But that was like, they had to like grow, you know? So they ended up growing and becoming more active. But yeah, in the beginning, oh man, dude, they're so timid. But it's understandable. They deaf. They probably, their whole life has been like something. I don't know. High school choir room day. Alright, so back at the choir. Ruby enters between classes. I like the scene like distribution it's just been going back and forth, but I think more and more it's gonna get more into the choir stuff. But I think that this movie has a pretty good job of balancing the two different storylines and giving them enough screen time to where it flows well, even though they're quite separated. Like there's no interaction. Okay. So they're in high school. She finds Bernardo alone, sitting at the piano, eyes closed. Mr. V, I'm meditating. She opens one eye, checks his phone timer, closes his eyes. 2 minutes to go. Okay, do you want me to wait or? Bernardo opens his eyes, pauses the timer. Most people who are afraid of singing don't sign up for choir. Ruby nods, not sure how to explain herself. Other kids make me nervous. I used to get made fun of. I talked funny when I first started school. You're the girl with the deaf family? Ruby nods. Bernardo looks her over. Everyone but you. Yeah. And you sing. Interesting. Are you any good? I don't know. Why did you run out of my class? I got scared. Of what? Other kids? Maybe. Or maybe finding out that I'm bad. Do you know what Bowie said about Bob Dylan? A voice like sand and glue. There are plenty of pretty voices with nothing to say. Do you have something to say? I think so. Good. Then I'll see you in class, Bob. He shoos her out with a wave. As Ruby leaves, a timer goes off on his phone, signaling the end of his meditation. Bernardo sighs, annoyed. Thank you. Alright. Basically, I'm gonna skip this scene. This scene is just Bernardo, it's just Gertie looking at Leo, and it's like Leo grew up really hot, and then Gertie wants to smash Leo. Yeah. That's just setting up. The Gertie wants to smash Leo and setting up a little bit of how the mom is so dependent on Ruby, because the mom was like, Grandma's on the phone, we gotta talk to her. Ruby signed for Grandma because Grandma's not deaf. And then Ruby's like, no, just do something else. Just get those like free online interpreter people or whatever. And then So then we're starting seeing a little bit about how the mom is always dependent on Ruby. Can't do anything for herself. High school choir room. So now we're back at the choir room. The choir sings Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye. Like it's a funeral dirge. Bernardo's like, energy, I'm falling asleep, guys. You guys sound like a funeral. Like, come on, you're teenagers. All you think about is getting it on. Ruby snickers. Bernardo, Bob. Ruby is startled, but come up here, come on. Ruby walks to the front of class. Bernardo goes, come on, sing. And then Ruby sings like, I've been really trying, baby, or something like that. I forgot how it goes. No, you're not breathing. There's no sound without breath, and none of you are breathing. Fill your belly. Fill it up. Come on, that's not our belly. This is our belly. And then he's like, you gotta breathe to the low part of your diaphragm, you know? Alright. Follow me. Remember the little dog, big dog exercise? Alright, little dog. Okay, do it. Push. And then medium dog. Okay, you're embarrassed? Really? Come on, everyone. Little dog, big dog. And the whole class is like, and then it's like, and then pant, push. Okay, big dog, engage your core, blow it out, push. Push. Now sing. And then that's when like Ruby kind of like lets go a little bit. And she's like, I've been really trying, baby. Or however it goes. I don't know how it goes. Her voice comes out with surprisingly clarity. other students react as this is like a High School Musical moment where like Troy Bolton is like, we're soaring, flying, there's not a star in heaven, and yes, trying to hold back these feelings. How did that song go? I'm gonna get copyright struck, so I'm not gonna play it, but I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back these feelings for something like that. Now we're talking, and if you feel like I feel something, and then Bernardo's like stops and is like, well, it's not sand and glue. Damn. Okay. So this is just the building of the relationship. There's nothing too important. That scene's just fun. I forgot. When was the lock-in? What page are we on? The lock-in probably... Yeah, the lock-in happened. I think the lock-in, the first inciting incident, the lock-in, Act 1 ended with Ruby going like... When with Mr. Bernardo or like Ruby deciding to do choir, and she comes back to choir and she's like, I have something to say. I think I have something to say. Blah 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 blah. And then the bird's like, all right, see you next class, and she goes to next class. So now we're in the Act 2, the first half, the promise of the premise, the rising action. So now it's climbing up. So we're getting a little bit of that trailer moments right now, you know, with some of the choir room fun, some of the singing, some of the Marvin Gaye stuff. You know, so we're getting some more interesting things. Things are getting a little happier. I just got too into the story that I forgot that I was supposed to be studying this script. But, yeah, because since this is like 80 pages, normally Act 1 would end at around page 25-ish. But that's for like a 120-page, 130-page script. Or is that like a 90-page script? I don't know. No. Yeah. That's for like 120 pages. So I think wherever it was then, I think it wasn't too far. It was like 18 or something. That sounds good. For story-wise, that's just the blueprints, you know, looking at this with that X-ray vision. Okay, where am I? Trying to hold back these feelings for so long, but okay. So the class heads out after their little singing part. Ruby, Miles, come here. The two characters. Miles isn't really a main character, he's just a side character, but the love interest. So we got... Okay, if it's possible, thank you. Do you two know each other? Yeah, kind of. This is so awkward. Ruby's like, yeah, we know him. And then Miles is like, kind of. Okay. I need a duet. For the fall concert. You're all I need to get by. You know it. Yeah. Ruby shakes her head. Bernardo looks disappointed. Educate yourself. He hands them each music. We'll work next class. You're All I Need to Get By Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell plays. Ruby bikes from school to Salgato's along the river. So Ruby needs to do the song. And then she also needs to do the fishing thing. Ruby walks through the auction. Workers move pallets of fish, shovel ice. Tony. So as Ruby approaches, she passes Tony haggling with another fisherman and eavesdrop. 800 for 3. It's as good as I can do, but I'll take them all, okay? Ruby's just overheard the price. She's armed for battle. She's approaching Leo and Gio. Leo's annoyed to see her. Leo goes, Dad's out back. Ruby ignores Leo, turning to Gio to negotiate. What are you giving him? Leo's like, Ruby, stop, I got this. $275. I just heard Tony tell McKinney it was 3, and his shit looks like it's been baking in the sun. Come on, it's 3 or we take our catch back. Leo's like, Ruby, get out of here, out of here. Ruby signs to him. He's ripping you off. Ruby heads out. Leo stares at Gio, livid. I really like Leo in this movie too, because he's on Ruby's side a lot. Once Ruby figures out what she wants to do, Because right now Ruby's still a bit wonky. But then Leo knows. Leo wants the deaf family to be self-sufficient without Ruby, because he also realizes that they're too dependent on the younger sister, the daughter, the youngest, to do everything for them. So Ruby exits to find Frank sitting on a sack of lobster traps smoking a joint. Ruby's like, we're out in public. It's medical. I don't think being deaf makes it legal to spark a fatty. Leo emerges from the auction house angry. Angry. What the hell was that? I got the price up, didn't I? I was handling it. You made me look stupid. No, you look stupid when Gio throws out any number he wants and you can't cross-check it. Guys, you wanna fight? Go fight those arseholes. Our family sticks together. I'd give my left nut to tell them to screw themselves. So do it. Who's gonna sell our fish? Us. Frank shakes his head. He walks away. So Frank's right now, he's all talk. He's all bite. He's all bark, no bite. He's not doing anything. He wants to sacrifice his nuts, but he got no nuts. So he needs to grow some big brass balls so that he can throw them at Tony Salgado and the Italian mob. So we got high school choir room day. The choir sings It's Your Thing by the Isley Brothers. Bernardo conducts. They stomp and clap for percussion. I don't know how the song goes. They laugh, dance, blah, 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 blah. She walks up to join Mr. V and Miles at the piano. So after school, Ruby, they're all practicing their duet. Bernardo's like, did you work on the song? Off there nods, good. Blow my tiny mind. He begins to play. They begin. You're all I need to get by. Like a sweet morning dew, I took one look at you, and it was playing. They're singing together, and then Bernardo's like, stops. It's like, you did not work on this. Ruby's like, we did, just not like together. Dios mío, duet, it's in the word. You must do it together. Face each other. Come on, face each other. To Miles, you're afraid of her? You're wise. To Ruby, come on, he does not have piojos. Guys, this is not the Pledge of Allegiance. It's a love song. A love song. Try to imagine what it is like to sacrifice everything for another human. They stare at him. So again? No. Of course again. You go first, Miles, okay? Let's take it from the verse. Ready? Bernardo nods and plays. They sing Miles like a sweet morning dew. I took one look at you, and it was plain to see. You were my destiny. With my arms open wide, I threw away my pride. Ruby's voice soars. Their voices blend nicely. Good, good, stop, good. In the chorus, try the harmony up. There's no looking back for us. Got it? And then Miles is like, alright, cool, don't worry. Good. I'm not angry at this. Go work and come back. Miles steals a look at Ruby, then grabs his stuff and beelines for the door. Bernardo to Miles, try it on guitar. Cool. Ruby collects her things. Bernardo, you can sing. You have no control, but your tone is lovely. Thanks. It's my favorite thing. What are you doing next year? I don't know. Working with my dad. No college. I found the locket. Okay, this is still Act 1. Never mind. Screw everything I just said. Everything I said before was a lie. I was just joking. It was a joke. I was kidding. I was just testing. Well, actually, I don't know yet. Hold on. Before I say that, I take everything back. I don't know anything. What are you doing next year? I don't know. Working with my dad. No college. I'm not good at school. Miles is auditioning for Berklee College of Music. I have been coaching him for his audition. You don't know Berklee? I've heard of it. Come on, I grew up in Mexico City and I even knew Berklee. Abraham Labroriel, the famous bassist, went there. I did too. I know Berklee too. My friend is in Berklee, or he graduated Berklee. Pretty cool, pretty cool. It's a good school. Pretty cool place. I know someone in Berkeley. Take off my jacket. Berkeley School of Music. I can't afford school. They have scholarships. How do you feel when you sing? I don't know, it's hard to explain. Try. This is where I cried. Okay, this is the crying. This is where I first cried. Ruby thinks. Then unsure of how to express it, she starts signing. Her 2 fingers. Blah blah blah. You gotta watch. I'm not even gonna read it, dude. There's nothing. The words don't do it justice. You gotta see it. When she started sighing, I started crying because I was like, bro, the expressiveness of her hands. Oh my god, I was dead. And it's like, you would need to sight read and learn a classical piece. I need your nights and weekends. I do not waste my time. So if I am offering, it is because I hear something. Alright, Ruby's like, hell yeah. So then Ruby tells her mom at home, I joined the choir. Jackie's like, why? I like to sing. What? You're a teenager. If I was blind, would you want to paint? And then Ruby's like, why is it always about you? Yeah, I hate the mom in this. I understand her. I get it. I respect her. And I get where she's coming from. But I just don't like her because of how she acts. You're a teenager. If I was blind, would you want... Like, she's so... Oh, she does not consider or respect a child's desires or ambitions, which it's understandable. I get it. You know, kids are all over the place, but still, there's time. Like, you gotta just be like, hell yeah, I'm down. Don't just that's the word, dismissive. That was the word that I used during the other live stream. It's so dismissive of her child's passions. It's just like, you're just a kid. What do you know? What? Whatever. I'm meeting people. I'm making friends. You know what? You should get out in the world too. Yeah, Jackie's projecting. She's also scared of her own shit too. Throughout this movie, Jackie learns to rely less on her daughter to do stuff for her, and she also starts to like make friends with non-deaf people because she literally doesn't have any friends or talk to anybody ever. You never see her interact with anyone other than the family. But she learns, she gets good. Frank and Leo dock their boat and tie it off. We should do a co-op. Look, there's empty warehouses all over the place. We could organize a business, get the other boats on board. Who's gonna support us? We're the deaf guys. Yeah, so Frank and the kids are very ambitious. Probably from maybe, living less naivete, being young, being sprightly. And then the parents are more jaded. They're less inspired. Sad. But don't worry. It's the spark of the young people that end up igniting the flame of the old. I don't know. I'm just spewing shit out my asshole. My slimy snail asshole. They look at us like we're a joke. So then the fishermen are all like, yo, we're going for Pratties for a brew. You want to go? And then Leo's like, I'm going. And then Frank's like, you want me to text Ruby? He's like, no, I'm a grown man. That's right. Ruby's like senior high school. Leo's a few years older, so he's like, I don't think he went to college. So he's probably whatever age. Alright, so now that we're at the bar and we're sort of seeing Leo just like studying the lip, but he's not laughing. Like all the guys are all joking and laughing, and then burping. But then Leo's just like, serious, because he doesn't know what the hell's going on. Someone spills a drink on Leo, and then Leo's like, yo, what the fuck? But he can't say anything, so he's just like gesturing, like, oh, yeah. And then now when the guy's like, oh, what? And the guy starts making fun of him. And then they get into a fight or whatever. After the fight, Leo gets punched in the eye. Leo like knocks the other guy out or whatever. because the other guy's like this big beer belly fat fuck. and then we have, so then Leo kind of wins. I don't know who wins, but Leo gets a bruised cheekbone. And then that's where we get Gertie. I like the formatting here, actually. Hold on. Gertie gestures. You okay? He shrugs, whatever. They stare at each other for a moment. Gertie brutally takes his phone and types in her number, then texts her. This texting format, Leo. You work here. You're not even old enough to drink. These guys can't count to 21. Good punch. Yes. When I interacted with deaf individuals, it was easy. It wasn't too bad. Like, I don't know. I think, yeah, like the mom and stuff, they make things. She's like, oh, I can't do anything without sign language, interpret without my daughter or whatever. They wrote, yeah, when I interacted, we just chatted, we just like gestured, pointed, figured stuff out, or we used our phones to text message, or we used the notes. That's what we did. We used Notepad on the phone, and we just wrote and figured stuff out. Alright, so Miles and Ruby. Alright, so they're gonna be practicing now. After the Patty's bar. Okay, so pretty much Leo and Gertie get it on. They're making out in the storage closet. They start smashing. Alright, so now we have Ruby's friend Gertie dating her brother. Dating Ruby's brother Leo. So that's just the side characters. Let's get it on. Which also, it's not 100% legal right at the moment. Gertie's 17 and Leo's like, I don't know, like 20 something. But it's fine. It's like close enough. I mean, I'm not too stickler, but I think like maybe some people might be wacky about it. Ruby looks around, embarrassed. It's a dump. Alright, so yeah, so Ruby invites Miles to her house. Their house is pretty trashy. It's like a poor fisherman house. So Ruby's like, at least they support you, right? Your music? Well, my dad insists guitar is a waste of time because it's not a true string instrument. They suck the fun right out of it. I'm sorry about all of this. My house is kind of gross. It's cool. Ruby leads him up the rickety porch. Ruby leads Miles up the stairs and into her room. Miles spies the Shags record on her player. No way, the Shags? I'm really here just to steal these ladies. I can't believe this actually works. It sounds like shit, but so does my stereo. My mom thought it was a waste of money. It was $2 from Goodwill. Do they even get what music is? My dad really likes gangsta rap because of the bass. Miles laughs. When we were little, I used to see you guys in town. We were hard to miss. This one time, I think it was like 3rd grade, you were at the Seaport Grill. You were ordering for your parents, talking to the waiter like a total baller. And then you ordered 2 beers. I thought it was so cool. Really? Yeah, my parents wouldn't even let me ride the bus by myself. They're weird, and they hate each other, so there's that. Ruby takes it in. No one's ever seen it like that. So should we do this, Stan? Yeah, I like this. I like some of those parts. So like, there's always good and bad, dude. Everything's gray. Ruby didn't get to have a childhood, but then the kids who did have childhoods, they're like, she has a lot of independence, so she grew up fast, which is good and bad. All of the above. So my parents wouldn't even let me ride the bus by myself, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So how do we do this? We stand, maybe face each other. So they start facing each other. Miles plays the guitar. They begin to sing. Like a sweet morning dew, I took one look at you, and it was plain to see you are my destiny. And then she's like, sorry, this is super weird. Okay, I don't know where to look. Well, do you want to try like going back to back? And Ruby's like, yes, please. So now they're back to back, and it's like, boom, they sing. Push me up the hill. Oh, there's no looking back for us. We are to love, sure enough, that's enough. You're all that I need to get by. Yeah. Alright, cool. So as they're singing, there's like loud ass sex sounds. They are clearly sex sounds. Loud sex sounds, grunting, and headboard banging. Miles hears a moan. Is that your mom? Yeah, is she okay? Ruby abruptly runs from the room. Ruby opens the door a crack, and then she's like flickering the lights on and off with the light switch, like blah 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 blah. And then Frank and Jackie freeze like busted teenagers. So then Ruby and Miles sit awkwardly across from Frank and Jackie, who wear bathrobes. Frank's like, alright, we need to discuss this. And then Ruby's like, no we don't. And then Jackie's like, we had no idea you were home. The doctor said you're not even supposed to have sex. Look at your mother. Hot. How am I supposed to control myself? Miles like, maybe I should go. Miles stands to leave. Frank gestures for him to sit down. Okay? I want to know what your intentions are. Dad, no. Are you two having sex? What is he saying? Ruby won't interpret. Frank signs it again. It's vulgar looking and pretty damn clear what he's saying. You screw on my daughter? You two have to use condoms. You put a helmet on that soldier. I like the sign language for here. He's like pa pa pa, like crawling through the trenches with like a helmet on. He has like a gun and stuff. Frank makes the gesture of putting on a condom. Miles' eyes go wide and he laughs. Ruby jumps up. Oh my god, Miles, go. You guys are the worst. Alright, Miles like, nice to meet you, and like boom, we go. So then now they're at school. Yeah, this scene's like whatever, but pretty much Miles told one person, like his friend, about what happened, and it was just like, oh, it was funny. But then that friend ended up telling like a bunch of people at the school, and then so at the cafeteria, Ruby sees, and some of the girls are like, oh, you gotta put on the thing or whatever, like making the signs for like freaking putting a condom on or whatever. And then Ruby's like, so then Miles is like, Ruby, hey, and then Ruby's like, get away from me. Hey, I didn't do that, okay? I didn't tell them. Yes, you did. Miles like, I thought this was funny. And Ruby's like, no. You have no idea what it's like to be laughed at, blah, 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 blah. Alright. So now, we're at Bernardo's house. Now we're at the private lessons to go to Berkeley. The Berkeley private lessons. So yeah, so that was the lock-in where it's like, I will give you the lessons for the Berkeley, because that's the main thing. That's the lock-in. Lock-in, hold on, where's my pen? Alright. So we got things here, okay? So we have lock-in is the choir Berkeley audition. So that's what they're gonna do. Whatever. Berkeley audition. Okay. And then we have the subplot. So we have this audition that we're doing right here. This is part of the main story. Now Ruby's practicing for her audition to improve singing. She also has to do the duet. Hold on, where's the cutoff line? There it is. It's like right here. Okay. So we have the duet. Very cool duet. We have this. We have the, what was it? The fisherman story. We have the family problems, the family story. We have Leo with his thing. So now each character, and then we also have each character with their own drama, but then it's all sort of tied into family. So we got three main things that are going on. We have Berkeley, I'll put duet as school stuff with Miles pretty much, and then we have fisherman thing. And all of this is at page 37 out of 79. So what's the math on that? Whatever, it's math. I don't do math. So we're sort of making good time over here. I did get, people have told me that this movie is slow in the beginning, and I can see it as well. I thought it was a bit slow at the beginning, kind of like right before the duet, right before the sex scene, right before they get caught having sex, the parents. That was like up to there, it was good. But then once the duet started happening, I was like, all right, fully invested. The pace is picking up, things are going well. And I think you can kind of see it because I think that this lock-in is pretty late in the story. If they maybe moved stuff around or pushed this sort of, or wait, this is the lock-in's not at page 37. The lock-in's way later. The lock is way before. When was it? I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure this out. Good punch. Bartender, Leo, Frank, you wanna go text the Ruby? Bernardo. Yeah, it's like at 27, 26. So it's pretty good for like page 25-ish. But I would prefer it earlier. That way, while you're watching the movie, it's not so boring with all this setup. With all this random setup that we don't need. Yet. Because I think some of the stuff, like some of the fishing plot lines and other things, and everything could be pushed back later. But it might not work chronologically. I mean, this is just a flaw. Like, you're gonna have to, like, it's just preferential. Like, the second time I watched it, I was there for the entire ride in the very beginning because I knew what was happening, so I knew I was just watching more intently. But, you know, this is just first impressions, your own feelings, the pacing. So, Bernard works Ruby on the piano. Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. This song's so good, especially Ruby's version of it, the movie's version of it. It's so good. They shake their heads. They say they've changed. Breathe. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I forgot. I don't know. I know how the song goes, but I don't know what this line is. Let it out. Don't hold it in. I've looked at life from both sides now. From and she's like holding it all in. You're holding it. I'm not. Yeah, you're trying to sound pretty. I'm not. Yes, you are. Okay, you said when you started school you talked funny. Funny how? I talked like a deaf person. What does a deaf person sound like? You know. No, I don't know. I want you to tell me. Different how? Like wrong, ugly. Okay, make an ugly sound for me. What? Come on, yeah. You think you were the only kid who ever got bullied? Whoever had a funny accent? Look at my eyes. Push against my hands as hard as you can. Push. Make the ugliest, grossest sound ever. Come on. Ah. And then Ruby lets go with an ugly sound reluctantly. Be a monster. Now sing at me. And then Ruby belts at him. Her voice comes out clear, resonant, and loud. Bernardo looks satisfied. Yes, that's it. Yeah. High five. Cool. So we're getting more of this. So now we're in the true Act 2 promise of the premise, rise in actions, that whole scene, everything, right? Everything sort of going up, the movement's getting faster. We're climbing up the hill. We're climbing up this hill of that hill. So what are we doing? Taking kickbacks. Oh, so this is the city hall meeting. Yeah, so this is where the family's big lock-in moment happens here. Because each of these story arcs have their own sort of beats. So we already hit Ruby's own personal story with the Berkeley. And now we're gonna hit the family story, the fisherman story with the blah blah blah. With this scene right here. So you guys raise the quotas every year. It's supposed to be 100 boats in that harbor. It must be 15 now. What are you doing? Taking kickbacks from the government? You want to control the fishing, but you don't know what's going on out there. That's the point of the monitors. Right, a snitch. Alright, hold on, I should read this actually. The Fisheries Council addresses a crowd of fishermen, including Frank and Leo, Gio Salgado, head of the council, and John Kaufman, a representative of NOAA. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration run the meeting. Alright, so we got some suits in here with all the fishermen. Hey, settle down, let's be respectful. Ruby sneaks in to join her father and brother. John Kaufman, the suit, is like, we're out here to collect data. Yeah, well, your data is wrong, okay? The water's getting warmer and the fish are going deeper. Oh, you've tested? Yeah, I see what's coming up in my nets, you asshole. Ruby's like, sorry, you got to interpret, I'm lost. What's going on? As the meeting continues, Ruby signs. We understand that the observers are a financial hardship, but it's critical to protect the fishery. It's John's job to look out for the fish, and as head of the council, it's my job to look out for you. The fishermen react, call it bullshit. It's not the good old days anymore. Everyone has to make some sacrifices. Guys, we're not the enemy here. Frank raises his hand. He stands up suddenly, banging his chair to get the room's attention. Then Frank's like, suck my dick. Frank gestures for Ruby to translate. Ruby stands up. It's like, suck my dick. And that's from him, not me. And then Gio's like, you got a problem, Frank? And then Frank looks at Leo. He's made a decision. This is the decision, the lock-in right here. Ruby awaits nervously. This is the second lock-in. We already had the main lock-in. This is the second one for this plot line. Ruby waits nervously. Here we go. She translates as Frank vents. So this is Frank. This is Ruby speaking, but Frank's signing this. We're tired of this shit, Gio. You don't care if these guys regulate us to death because you're the only one making money here. No one's getting paid what their catch is worth. The other fisherman looks so shocked at his ferocity. Frank is still silent. Ruby's speaking. My dad fished and his dad, so I'm gonna fight like hell to stay out on the water. Screw yourself. I'm done with the auction. Oh yeah? What are you gonna do? That we're gonna sell our own fish. Any of you want to join us? And it's like, and Joe's like, hey, what is this? Leo stands up to help him out. Leo's siding. Ruby's talking. You like giving this asshole 60% of your paycheck? Bring us your catch, and we'll double what you're getting now. There's silence. Then a few of the fishermen clap. Ruby shoots Leo a look. Double it. I have no idea. It sounded good though, right? Alright, so now they're finally taking action. Being proactive. They're being proactive in the story. And we're only halfway through the script, but it's fine because this is the secondary plot line, you know? So this plot line is going to be shorter than the other one. So it's fine. Jackie stares at her family, who looks sheepish. What? It just came out. I was in the moment. How would that even work? We get customers to sign up. They buy fish right off the boat. Do you know how much work that is? There's so many steps. I've looked into it. There's no money for it. You do our books. You could work with the other wives. Those hearing bitches want nothing to do with me. Ruby's like, maybe if you didn't call them hearing bitches. And you hate people. She's talking to Frank. The mom is talking to the dad. We could finally be a part of the community. We have our community. Who? Your deaf friends? You see them once a month. What's the problem? It's a great idea. Jackie takes them in, seeing her family's determination. We can't talk to these people. See, this is where Jackie's flaw really seeps in right here. Jackie's flaw of fricky dicky of what is this? Oh, of being timid. She's too passive. She's too scared to do anything. Ruby's heart sinks. What did she just get herself into? Leo storms out. So it's 3 a.m. They're fishing. Angela Rose deck. Ruby's practicing her classical sheet music while on the fishing boat. We're montaging through with a song, blah blah blah. We can skip this. Bernardo's house evening. She's singing. But so then now we're just montaging through this rising action portion. This is so common. You see this all the time in like movies and scripts. During this Act 2 portion, you're just like, because okay, Act 2, there's 4 sections in the screenplay. We have Act 1, we have 2 parts, 2 sections in Act 2, and then we have Act 3, right? For section 2, what's it called? Segment 2 of Segment 2, which is the first half of Act 1, that is the promise of the premise, and what that means is you sort of deliver on what this story is going to be about. So the story, you see the trailer of like, oh, like this girl who likes to sing is part of a deaf family, and they're all fishermen and stuff. There's like fishing drama, and there's singing drama and school drama. So all of that stuff in the trailer gets paid off here in this moment. And the best, most easiest way to do it is through a montage. You see it in a bunch of movies. You see it in La La Land. There's other movies, but La La Land is the only one that comes to mind. If you know, there's like this jazz, the summer montage song where it's like boom, and now Mia and Sebastian are dating, and then they're doing all this kind of fun, happy, fun jazz shit. So, montage moment right now. We're montaging through all the good stuff of the characters. They're all locked in on what their goals are. We know what all their goals are, and now it's time for the montage, for them to start working towards the goal, you know, and they're succeeding, baby steps, they're overcoming obstacles. There's no like big trauma down yet. That's the second half of Act 2, is when everything starts going wrong. But here is everything's going right, and everyone's determined and everyone's motivated. The problem, I think, is that it's kind of just starting to happen halfway through the movie, when it should be happening a little bit earlier. So this is where I see the complaints of it being too slow in the beginning, because you have all this setup to do. That's how I felt. I felt that this movie was a bit slow in the beginning, but then it just kind of like cascaded down with all this content in the second half. Because I mean, they're pushing everything up to the second half where everything's paying off, which is just it's just how this movie is. I don't think it's stylistic or anything, but I think it's just how the movie is. It's how it's written, it's how it's shot, and it's how the story is told. And I think I really like this movie. This is like 10 out of 10 fun movie, top 10 movie for me of all time. I really like this film. But I'm just pointing out, like, hey, maybe if something was moved around, maybe more and more people can it'll keep the momentum going. It won't be as slow in the beginning, but whatever. Even then, I don't even think it's that slow in the beginning. I'm just going off of what people have told me, how they felt. Ruby walks to her lesson, blowing past Miles on his way out. Oh yeah, so Ruby still hates Miles. Bernardo tells Ruby, "You're late." Alright, so now we're getting some of this tension here, some of this problem here. But we're still cutting through. So we have the fisherman co-op is going on. The dad and the brother, they have their plot. They're making their own little fishing selling company thing. The mom is sort of working with the other wives, but it's not going too well for her. And then with Ruby, we have her singing lessons. She's late because she's juggling all of this stuff, but it's going well, and she still hates Miles. Bernardo is like, "Get your ass inside." She's late again, and she's on the phone because Ruby's like juggling 2 different things. This is where we start seeing more of Ruby's flaw. I think another part here is, a part of this, the reason why some of the pacing in the writing is off too, I think it's because of the genre of this movie. This is like melodrama, and in melodrama, I think you need a lot more time to get connected to these characters, right? It's not like your classic like Spider-Man, Marvel, action general movie. This is melodrama, so there's not a lot of stuff really going on. There's stuff happening, but it's not as grandiose and crazy like Spider-Man freaking tag teaming with Oprah Winfrey to kill Thanos or whatever the fuck, you know. So So yeah, so I think that's why we need more time to set up and build relationships with everyone, and just to get these characters a good understanding, give everyone a good understanding of these characters. All right, lecture over, rant talk over, lesson over. We're moving on. All right. So this is the part where we started learning more about Ruby's flaws, what she needs, because we know what she wants. She wants to sing. She wants to go to Berkeley. But then what does this character need? What's the psychological need? The thing that she does not know she needs yet, right? And that, during the movie, when I was watching it, on Wednesday when I was live streaming that, I was going through so many different ideas of what she needed because I couldn't really place it, only until the end. And then at the end was, I think I landed on, she needs to be independent from her family, as well as understand the positives of being. It's like, because it's the song. It's literally the song that she sings at the end of both sides now. It's like, I've looked at life from both sides now, and she needs to be independent and do things for herself, and then, because as much as her family relies on her, she relies on them just as much, because she's like the newborn bird that's too afraid to leave the nest. And we're seeing a little bit of that here. Like, she's taking on too much. She's so like stuck on her family. This is not the best example, because I think this is spun more towards like, oh, her family's demanding her a lot. She doesn't want to do this, but you see, like, when she's given chances to leave this like manager role or interpreter role for her family's fish business, she ends up coming back. It's like a drug. She can't quit. It's hard to quit, even though her family is like, yo, we don't, like, the brother's like, yo, leave. Like, we don't need you. We're good. And then she's like, no, I'll stay. And the brother's like, yo, what the fuck? You gotta go to Berkeley. The brother's like trying to push her to do her dream, and she's like, no, I don't want to do my dream. No, I'm too scared to leave the nest, kind of thing. All right, I'm jumping too far ahead. So, it's the third time you're late. It's only 20 minutes. I don't care if it's 1 minute. It shows me that you don't respect me or my time. Respect. I like Bernardo. I have a lot going on. Me too. I have a whole life that has nothing to do with you. If you waste my time, I will not work with you, okay? I'm sorry, it won't happen again. It better not. So Miles is trying to get her attention. You're gonna avoid me till we graduate? I wasn't laughing at them for being deaf, okay? It was the situation. Look, I know it's not an excuse, but it sucks in my house right now. You've got a life. You've got like this perfect life, and your parents are madly in love. They can't keep their hands off each other, and your house is disgusting. My house is disgusting. It's not. It's a home. You all work together and laugh, and my family's not like that. And then I listen to you sing, and I just do it because it's expected of me. You have no idea what it's like to hear people laugh at your family. You're right, I don't. And I have to protect them because they can't hear it, but I can. I know. I'm sorry, Ruby. I am. I'm a dick. Can I make it up to you, please? I like this line right here. It's like I'm gonna text you every few minutes till you agree to hang out with me. And then Ruby's like, that's psychotic. And Mom's like, okay, I will not do that. I won't. Oh yeah, don't do that. But that's kind of funny, because you hear that happen. Oh, yeah, it's a good thing they did this, because, oh man, dude, it's so like, I don't know, like genderist in older movies where like, the guy's like a fucking stalker, like a rapist. You ever seen like in like the old Hollywood movies of like the 60s or up to like the 90s, even in the 2000s? They're like, the guy's like, the girl's like, yo, stop, I don't want that. And then the guy's like, oh, I'm gonna keep coming in, and he keeps coming into the house and like, oh, and being all like intrusive. Like, yo, what the fuck? I'm gonna call the cops on you, bro. What the fuck is this? But then the girl like gives in and is like, all right, I'll date you. I'll marry you. Like, what the fuck? And that's why in the US we have so many divorces happening. It's like over 50% divorce rate, because all the women, all the marriages that were formed back in the day was formed with this impression in our mind of due to media or due to freaking society shit where like the guy picks the girl that he wants, and the girl has to just settle with whoever's chasing her. And then but now that there's all these divorces, it's because now the women are now realizing, hey, I don't like this guy. I just picked him because I needed to get married. So what the fuck am I with this dude? Goodbye. And then they leave. It's like, okay, so yeah. And you see that in the movies. The guy's always chasing. And the girl's like, all right, fine, I'll give in. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Who does the girl like? Like, does the girl have a crush on somebody? What if you're not her type? The fuck? So yeah, I don't know. That's a tangent for this line right here. But it's like, I would text you every day to hang out with me. Okay, I will not do that. Yeah, no means no. No means no. No means fucking no. I'm gonna create a poll right now. No means no. Did I do it? What? Hold on, I'm gonna do it. I gotta do it. Oh, okay, I did it. No means no. Yes or no. No means no. No means no. Yes or no. No means no. Yes or no. Whatever. Alright. Alright, so now we're having some warehouse stuff. I don't really care about the fishing arc, honestly. I don't really care about the mom stuff. So we have this, but this part's kind of important. Like, the mom is like, where are you going? And then Ruby's like, I gotta go to my music practice. And then Jackie is all like, we got news people coming in. We can't do this. And then mom's like, please, you gotta come, you gotta translate for the news people and everything. And then Ruby's like, okay, fine, I'll translate. And then she ends up missing her thing. And then Ruby glances down at her phone, and the text comes in. We have a lot to work on from Bernardo. She texts Bernardo, sorry, family thing. And then Bernardo's like, I told you no more of this. I mean it to Ruby. And then Ruby's like, oh my god. And so then Ruby runs in. Mr. V. And then Bernardo doesn't answer. He like leaves her hanging at her doorstep. So at school, Bernardo is playing the piano. Ruby sneaks in and she's like, hey, is that yours? I want to do this. And then Bernardo's like, I don't think so. It's like, are you serious? It's like, you have no discipline. You're late. You're unprepared. You wouldn't last 2 days at Berkeley. Out, go. And then Ruby's like, it's not like that school did you any good. And then Bernardo stares at her. You have, 17 years on this planet? You don't know shit. Ruby takes this in, stunned. You want to know why I'm a teacher? I'm good at this, but I can't do my job unless you do yours, and I certainly don't need a lesson in failure from someone who's too afraid to even try. I really like that line. To learn a lesson in failure from someone who's too afraid to even try. Damn. You gotta try and fail, fam. You gotta fail. Failing is good. Alright. Ruby stands in front of Jackie, Frank, and Leo. A hockey game is on, but she has their attention. Ruby's like, I want to go to college at Berkeley, music school. My teacher's been helping me with my audition. Frank's like, college? Boston? That city's full of assholes. So is everywhere. You can't go now, we just started the business with you. That's all you care about, losing your free interpreter? You're an important part of this. It's terrible time. And then Ruby's like, there will never be a good time. I can't stay with you for the rest of my life. Nobody expects that from you. I have been interpreting my whole life. This is exhausting. Singing is what I love. It's everything. And then Jackie turns to Leo and is like, did you know about this? And Leo's like, nah. Alright, so then Frank and Jackie have their parent discussion about their kid doing something related to arts or whatever. It's like, what if she's bad? I don't know. I've never heard her sing. It's like, I haven't either. Oh. Alright, so now we're back at that ocean area, that same manship quarry, the little lake where Ruby sang her happy birthday. It was like so good, and I was crying. And it's like, really? No, please. So then Miles and Ruby, they end up making up through some singing and dancing and shit. And here is the midpoint. The midpoint is the halfway point of the movie, or of the story. Not exactly halfway in the movie, but ideally it might be halfway in the movie. In this case, it's like 70% throughout the movie. But this is the midpoint right here. This is sort of like the happy moment. Miles and Ruby's make up, they kiss, like in reality, they kiss and things are looking good. Kind of. There is still problems, but there is a small victory. The midpoint pretty much mirrors the ending of a movie in traditional Hollywood film rules. If it's a happy ending, then the midpoint is happy. If it's a sad ending, then the midpoint is sad. So it's sort of picture that classic, that arc of a story. We have the lock-in here, we're at the rising action, the midpoint, and boom. So this is the ending is happy, midpoint is also happy. And then we have the climax right here where everything's are sad. Ooh, that way you have momentum and movement of where emotions are going, right? Because screenwriting as a whole is just going from emotions, is just changing emotions. The story is just going like a scene. Each scene has a change in emotion, from like happy emotion to negative emotion, from like negative to like to like some kind of guilty emotion. So it's just a switch in emotion. That way you have movement. So right now we're at the happy moment of Ruby and Miles. They have their love. She's kind of made up with Bernardo, and then she's continuing their Bernardo classes. And then we have, I think, yeah, like they have, and then the family has their fishing thing that's like going pretty good. Like there's on the news, so it's like things are going pretty well. Like it's pretty happy, it's pretty popular. There's still problems because it's at the end of the movie, so there's still gonna be problems, but there's victories right now. We're winning, or we're winners. Alright, so now we have the Angela Rose deck. Joanne lays out, I think there's a scene missing right here. There's like a big scene. Yeah, the kiss scene here is missing, and then they're jumping down and everything. So yeah, so we're missing some scenes. So this script is actually longer than it's supposed to be. Than what's said here. We're missing shit, but it's okay. Miles reluctantly follows. Your legs are gonna start shaking like cartoons. Wait, we're not missing anything. Okay, never mind. Alright, yeah. So here's when the bad stuff starts happening. It's just split up than what I remember. Alright, yeah, so Ruby's doing happy stuff, and then this is when things start going downhill for Leo and Frank. Right here, where the Coast Guard, they're like, fishing vessel Angela Rose, Coast Guard 25 off your starboard quarter, channel 16, over. And then they're like, but then they can't hear Joanne, who's like the marine scientist person. She's like, I don't know anything that's going on. She finds out they're deaf, and then she doesn't know how to answer the radio. So then the Coast Guard boards and it's like, you sir, stand up, drop the pick, stand up, what are you doing here? Why is no one answering the radio? Blah, 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 blah. So the Coast Guard boards them and gets them out. So now things are going downhill for the family, and then They kiss. So then now things are gonna start going downhill after some happiness. So we got the family kind of blames Ruby for not being on the boat and hanging out with Miles. So then that's sort of where things are going. It's like, Ruby's, are you seriously blaming me? And then it's like, don't put this on me, it's not my fault. Boom, she's mad. The family gets fined $1,000 or like $2,500 for all of this, and they're required to have a hearing individual on board at all times. Rossi family. So then now they get fined. They have to do this while they're eating. Ruby's like, okay, I decided school can wait. I will be the fishing hand until we get enough money. So she sort of gives up on her dream right here. Ruby lies in bed, headphones on, listening to both sides now. So she kind of has a bit of what's it called? Like, not resolution, but you make up. She makes up a little bit with her mom, where the mom buys her a dress for the concert, for the duet. They sort of talk about it. It's like, when you were born at the hospital, this is where we get more of the mom's side. When you were born at the hospital, they gave you a hearing test, and there you were, so tiny and sweet, with these electrodes all over you. I prayed that you would be deaf. When they told us that you were hearing, I felt my heart sank. I was worried that we wouldn't connect, like me and my mom were not close. I thought that being deaf would make me a bad mom. It's like, don't worry, you're a bad mom for so many other reasons. And it's like, ha ha ha, whatever. Alright, so Leo's like, yo, you can't fish full time. Why not? It's like, Gertie told me that you can really sing. That's special. You can't stay here. They'll keep looking for you for everything. What else am I supposed to do? Let me do this. I got this. I'm the older brother, and I get treated like a baby. I haven't been able to do a thing with Fresh Catch, because it's all involves talking to hearing people. So what? Who cares? You're so afraid that we'll look stupid. Let them figure out how to deal with deaf people. We're not helpless. Our family was fine before you were born. Go. I think this says a lot. So this shows a lot more of Ruby's flaws, where I don't want to say she has a savior complex, but she just doesn't. It's because she hears and she can't handle her family's being made fun of, like exactly said in here, which kind of just inhibits her from wanting to do what she does. So she's sort of holding herself back. Of course, the family is also like not approving, so it's hard. But she herself is sort of lying to herself, like, oh no, I'm excited to be a fisherman. I'm excited to fish. I'm excited to do this and that. When in reality, she's not. And she wants to, like, protect people. When the brother's like, who cares, bro? I'm gonna look dumb, but it's okay. I'm gonna do blah, 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 blah. Make these weird noises, dance around, make these hand gestures. It's not I don't care. It's the hearing people's problem if they can't do it. You know? I already talked about this topic to death, so there's nothing more to say. I'm not gonna be repeating myself too much. And my throat's also dying, so we're moving on. What's wrong? Okay, so now they're at the concerto. And then we see Frank and Jackie. They're kind of distracted because they can't hear anything. But this is the deep part. This is the part where I was like, shooketh. Alright, so as the song finishes up, Bernardo walks on stage. So they have their choir concert. And it's like, now we have a special treat. Sometimes you hear a voice and it reminds you to keep making music. Please welcome Miles Patterson and Ruby Rossi. So Frank and Jackie perk up when they see Ruby. This is what they've been waiting for. We see this performance from Frank and Jackie's perspective. So we hear them sing, and then it fades to silence. Oh man, the effect was so good. It's just like, wah. You hear nothing, and it's just shots of like Frank and Jackie looking around, Leo looking around, and they're seeing people's reactions of them like smiling. Some old parents, like grandmas, are like sniffling because the singing's so good, and it's just like quiet. The song ends and the audience leaps to its feet. Jackie and Frank clap along with the crowd. Ruby and Miles take a bow. They're like, woo. All right. So then Bernardo meets the family. Bernardo's like, oh, dude, like, you know, your audition spot is still there at Berkeley if you want to go. You know, it's still open. You should let your family know that you should really go. And then Ruby's like, no, it's okay. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to tell my family, blah, 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 blah. Like, blah, 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 blah. All right. All right. So this scene wasn't added in. Actually, wait, that scene is that. I just skipped too far. Oh, this scene made me cry so hard. Alright, so the Rossi family exits the car and heads towards the house. So that after the concert, they all go home. I'm gonna get some air. Yeah, Frank is like super like deep in thought after seeing all of this, because he can't hear. But after seeing all of this, Ruby starts to head inside and thinks better of it. She joins her dad sitting on the tailgate of the truck. What are you doing? Just thinking. Frank gestures up to the sky. Stars don't look half as good on land as they do out on the water. They sit for a moment. The song you sang tonight, what was it about? I guess it's about sacrifices. What it means to need someone else. Can you sing it for me? What, now? Please? Ruby hesitates, then starts to sing quietly. Like a sweet morning dew, I took one look at you and it was plain to threw away my destiny. Frank's like, louder. And then Ruby sings louder. Frank lays his hand on her throat to feel the vibrations. This is when I started crying. I'm getting choked up already just thinking about it. Yeah, she's like singing, and then her dad's like cupping her neck gently, or like feeling the vibrations and stuff, and his eyes are closing and everything. As like the song continues, Ruby's voice becomes clear and resonant, drifting up into the night. I will go where you lead, always there in time of need. And when I lose my will, you will be there to push me up the hill. And then Frank moves his hand around her neck to find her voice. He closes his eyes, that's it. He can feel it. He moves his hand to her plexus, listening. It's like, oh my god, I'm fucking crying my eyes out. There is no looking back for us. We got love, sure enough, that's enough. They're all I need to get by. So then Frank opens his eyes. He takes in his daughter. He kisses Ruby on the forehead. She leans into her dad and they look up at the night sky. I don't even remember this happening. I was just freaking crying. I didn't see anything. So this is the first time I'm seeing this. Ugh. Man, the way they did that scene with the thing on the hands on the neck, man. Oh, we need to talk about the plot points. So yeah, so things were going downhill with all this kind of stuff. Leo fighting, all the fighting basically. And then once we hit this part, this was sort of like the third act twist. When everything hit the low point was when the family got the tickets and Ruby had to give up her thing. That was sort of like the low point, the climax where everything bad happened. So now we're in the third act twist. And then it's like the sun's coming up. Although the third act twist was when like the dad. This is the third act twist right now. Yeah. So after the touching of the throat, singing, the next day, third act twist happening. The dad's like, wake up. We are going to Berkeley. And then it's like, she pulls out her phone. Alright. She texts Bernardo, I'm coming. We're coming to Berkeley. So Ruby enters the lobby of her audition. She takes in the other kids dressed in recital attire. She feels out of place in her shabby sweater. Look at how they're dressed. It's fine. You look pretty. Hey, I'm here for my audition. Okay, what's your name? Ruby Rossi. It looks like you're about half an hour late. Are you ready to go? And Ruby's like, we roll deep. My family goes together. And our family can't go with you. Oh, man. All right. So, Ruby sees Miles at the audition. Miles choked. He doesn't get into Juilliard. Or not Juilliard, Berkeley. So, okay. So now they're at the Berkeley audition hall. So, hello, you are Ruby Rossi. Okay, Ruby Rossi. Looking at your application, aside from your involvement in the school choir and a very nice letter from Bernardo Villalobos, You don't have much of a history with music. Ruby stares at him. I don't understand. Is there a question? That's one of my favorite scenes. Bro, there's so many like interview things, or like especially when you're in school, like going to college or whatever. It's like, okay, so looking at all this application, you don't have much of a history with music. Okay. So? Is there a question? It's so good. Frank and Jackie and Leo Pace. And also the acting too. Ruby's like Amelia Jones. I think that's her name. I'm gonna Google it. Hold on, let me freaking double check. Amelia Jones. Yeah, Amelia Jones. And her delivery on some of the lines is just so good. It's so funny. Alright, so what is your first song today? Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. Do you have your sheet music? I don't, I forgot. Do you know that song? Talks to the pianist. The pianist is like, nah. Alright, you're gonna have to sing it a cappella. But then, the legend, Bernardo Villalobos. I can accompany her. Hello, class of 89. Nice to meet you. May I? Guess so, thank you. Rose and Flo. So then, Bernardo gives Ruby a look. He begins to play Both Sides Now. Her voice is timid, cautious. She is paralyzed with fear. She's not ready. And she's like, rose and flows of angel hair, ice cream castles and the... So then Bernardo deliberately plays a wrong note. Ruby falters. And then Bernardo's like, sorry, my mistake. Let's take it from the top. And then the jury's like, okay. Yeah. So the family sneaks into the top row, the balcony of this auditorium. And then the judges don't know anything. They're just watching. They're like, all right, this kid. And then Ruby sees them on the balcony. And then she starts singing with more like strength, more power. After that mess up to their second chance. Rose and flows of angel hair, and ice cream castles in the air. This song's so good. And then, hold on, I'm gonna tell you the moment where I start crying. So she glances up at her family. They smile down at her. But now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So Ruby, I've looked at clouds that way. Clouds got in my way. And then Ruby begins to sign, fluidly interpreting the lyrics with her hands as she sings. So she starts signing for the family so they know what she's saying. And I started crying because when the sign starts happening, it's like this like falsetto moment. It's like, I've looked at clouds from both sides now. And it's like, oh, I'm freaking dead. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds I'm signing right now, but you can't see it. I really don't know clouds at all. And then Ruby's voice sails out, and then they're like, woo! And then the jury's like, whoa. They turn around to see who she's signing to. They see the family up there. Moons and Junes and Ferris. I remember the signs too, because I've seen that scene so many times. I remember the signs that she uses. I've looked at love that way. She sings directly to her parents. This is for them. They watch her move. Oh, I'm choking up right now. I'm holding back my crying right now. If I was reading this alone, like in bed, cuddled up, I would be crying right now. But I'm holding it in. But now, it's just another show, whatever. Alright, so she sings another montage just to show like, okay, things are getting good, you know, this their like third act twist, they go to Juilliard, things are doing good, things are happy, they're out of the woods. Now the story is finishing. The guys got out of the woods. All the problems are kind of over, are pretty much done. We solved it. We've solved the problems of the story. So then Miles and Ruby, they're like, visit me in Boston. And it's like, you'll run off with like a jazz drummer who wears a fedora or something. And then so then, alright, cool. And then Ruby's like Ruby is going off to college. They're packing up her trunk. Oh, you're getting your Beat Saber working? Hold on, I gotta finish this. Alright, this is almost done. But this is the part where I cries again. So Gertie drives away. So Ruby quickly hugs Frank. Okay, so they're packing up everything. The car is packed full of stuff. Gertie finishes loading Ruby's duffel. Ruby effectively hugs her family goodbye, efficiently, trying to avoid a big emotional scene. You sure don't want to get us to come? We can help you set up your dorm room. No, let's not make this a big thing. Jackie gives her a squeeze. Ruby peels her off, turns to Leo. Bye-bye, ass monkey. Bye-bye, shit nugget. Ruby quickly hugs Frank, who hands her the last of her belongings. She breaks away and climbs into the car. Interior, exterior, Gertie's car. Rossi home, continuous. Gertie drives away. Ruby looks back at her family, getting smaller as they pull down the road. Suddenly, as they are almost out of sight, Ruby panics. Wait, stop. Gertie stops. Ruby leaps from the car and runs back to her family. She dives into her embrace. The four of them hug, holding each other tight. Family, Frank takes Ruby's face in his hands. He uses his voice. Go! I don't know how he says it. How does he say it? Ruby smiles and nods. He runs back towards the car and climbs in. Her family watches as the car pulls away. Ruby waves. And then she holds up the sign, her hand inside I love you forever, which is that sign in the poster, I think, which is like that freaking rock and roll looking sign thing, like, whoa. But when Frank talks for the first time and the last time, I bawled. But yeah, the end. We done. God damn. How many pages? 79? It's a lot shorter than Little Women. But I went faster too. Let's see. So everything went out well. But yeah, final thoughts on the movie. I think the script's pretty good. I like the movie better than the script this time. But there are some screenplays that I like a lot better than the movie. For this one, I think you gotta see the movie for the songs. It has to be for the songs, dude. That one scene, the best scene that I watched 1,000,000 times. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow. Yes, and my beautiful singing. Hopefully I'm off key enough so that way that the YouTube auto tune or the YouTube freaking whatever it's called doesn't copy strike my ass. It's on Apple. Unfortunate. Just get the free trial. We all have free trials if you have an iPhone or if you have anything Apple. But whatever. You'll have to. But that's it. I can help check out your stuff. But give me a second just to shut everything down. But I do have to go soon. So I'll stay for as long as I can. Alright. That's it. I'm gone. Peace out. Script study. Next one next week. I don't know what movie, what script I want to do, but I have so many, and I'll pick one. Bye-bye.